Thank you for joining us in the Growth Now movement. We are Justin and Zac, two entrepreneurs who wanted to bring you people's amazing stories of inspiring growth in business and in life. So let the growth begin.
Welcome to the first episode of the Growth Now movement. Justin and Zac here, getting ready to come to you with some great podcast information.
We wanted to take this first episode and tell you a little bit about ourselves, a little bit why we're doing this and what our mission is. Our goal going forward is to bring in people to interview with amazing and inspiring growth journeys to really inspire you to go ahead and live your dreams. But what we want to do now is get into a Q&A session with each other so you guys get to know us a little bit as your host, and then that way you can follow us week by week and we can move forward together. And Zac's going to ask me some questions first, and I'll be honest, I'm a little bit nervous because I have no idea what he's about to ask me, so it could go either way at this point. So Zac, take it away.
All right, they get easy, or they start easy, and then they get hard. No, I'm just kidding. So the first one, don't read too much into it. What's your favorite food and why?
Oh, that's good. My favorite food is, I actually thought about this the other day. It was always a toss-up. Obviously, I'm an American kid. It was always a toss-up between wings and pizza. And I decided the other day that pizza was the winner, only because you could eat it at any time during the day. And it's good cold, hot, it doesn't matter. So
and
pizza.
It's completely healthy. Okay.
It's really, has all the food groups.
Yeah, naturally. All right. So now that we got that important question out of the way, if you could go anywhere for vacation right now, where would it be and who would you take?
I've always really wanted to go to Greece. I think it's a beautiful country. I've heard really good things. I heard it's really clean. I heard the food's amazing. The people are very welcoming. So I'd go to Greece, and I'd probably bring my family. My family's super close, and I think that it would be a good time for us to get away and kind of enjoy ourselves.
Good. Actually, I really like that. You know, if I would go on vacation, I think I'd take my family too. It's a place to get away. It's a place to have fun. And your family's awesome, so that'd be a good time. Yeah,
my family is awesome.
For us,
so is yours.
Oh, thank you. All right, next question. If money was no object, what would your life path be starting tomorrow? Now, that's the first part of the question. That's an overview. The next part is walk us through what a day would look like from the time you get up to the time you rest your head to bed at night. So, what?
Wow.
So, no object. Tomorrow you get to do whatever you want in your life. What is it? And then how would your day go? What time would you get up? What would you do? And then how would your day go? And then bed.
So I decided a long time ago that I believe my path in life is to help people reach their goals or get to where they want to go. So I would do something of motivation for people. I'd motivate people. I'd hopefully teach them some lessons that maybe I've learned along the way. I would do this podcast. That's why we started it. And if you said money's no object, but if I had a lot of money, I'd become an angel investor and I would help young startups get to where they want to go. But as far as how my day goes, that's a good question. I mean, I'd probably wake up. I'm not the earliest riser like you, Zac, but I'd wake up whenever my body wanted me to wake up. I'd work out. I'd have the meetings that I needed to have. Obviously doing the podcast, I'd hopefully interview, important people on a daily basis. And I'd obviously meet with the people that I'm investing my time with. I'd do some coaching on the side. So obviously that's really where my goal is taking me in life. That's where my path is taking me. But this would have money not being an object, I'd be there already.
Okay.
That's about it.
Cool. I thought it was interesting. You said you want to do angel investing. If money was no object, what types of businesses do you think you'd invest in?
Ones with heart.
Wow. Okay.
So I think when you believe in what you're doing, I think the rest can be learned. So if I find somebody who has a true passion with what they're doing and what they're building, I want to help them build it. I don't want it to be about money. Obviously, money is what makes this world go around if you really think about it. But that's not my ultimate goal in life. My ultimate goal is to touch as many lives as I can in a positive way. So if I find somebody who truly believes in what they're doing and I can help them, those are the types of companies I want to invest in, the ones with heart.
I like that. That's interesting. A lot of times you think angel investors, maybe Shark Tank or something like that. It's, okay, bottom line, what's my return? What am I going to do? You see them crunching the numbers. But then you see someone, and you do see on those shows too sometimes, where somebody just has so much passion about something. You're like, some of the investors on there, they just say, wow, you know what? This may not be the best business decision, but I'm gonna put my money on this person. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's cool. Good. I like that. Thanks. Cause I was really curious about that question. I thought about that. I'm like, man, I always think about successful people and what do they do from when they get up to when they go to bed that's different. And those are the things that I love to think about, and I want to learn and know. So that was good to hear. So, what was your biggest turning point in your life? Did you have a turning point? And if you did, what was it, and what was the biggest one? I know you've had a couple, so maybe you want to.
If we're talking professionally, like when I figured out my path of what I kind of wanted to do. Growing up, I was a shy kid. I didn't really inject myself into large groups of people. I had my close-knit friends, and I had really good friends, but I was always kind of on the shy side. And when I was 18, I got a job selling knives. And I would say, as funny as that sounds, and there's probably a lot of people that are listening that know what Cutco is and vector marketing, but that was literally my turning point as far as where I wanted to go in life. I got this job, and they say, you're going to sell knives to people you don't know. Good luck. And it literally put me in front of people. I had to do public speaking. I had to learn how to challenge myself on a daily basis, and I fell in love with it. I absolutely fell in love with the idea of pushing myself beyond my limits. So professionally, I would say that was my biggest turning point in life when I was 18. And I kind of found the path, and I made some choices from there. And then, Jump Bug was the first step into doing all that stuff. And now this podcast is going to be our next big leap. But I would say that getting that job selling knives was my biggest turning point.
You said you were 18 when that happened. I feel like a lot of people probably don't hit their turning points in life, till a little bit later. Do you think being so young impacted you more than maybe some other people, or what do you think having that so young did to you?
I think it's given me a longer perspective, not a better perspective on a goal or a path, but it's given me a longer one. Okay. I at 18, I realized that's what I wanted to do, and it took me a long time to find that vehicle. And that vehicle was Jump Bug, again, going back to that. We did that when I was, 25, 26?
Yeah, man, I think I was like 23.
Something like that. Yeah. So you're talking, 8 years right there. So it took me 8 years to even find the vehicle. I'm thankful that I found what my passion was when I was 18, because it gave me that ability instead of being 40 or 50 or 60 and going, oh, now here's my passion and I got to start now. Mm-hmm. So that's really the biggest difference. I just haven't really wavered from that. And I'm sure, again, in life at some point I'm going to hit another brick wall and I'm going to go, well, here's my new path, And I think you're constantly hitting those. Mm-hmm. That just happens to be the one that sticks out the most for me.
Cool. All right, let's see here. I've more than 5. I'm sorry, so I may skip one or two.
Well, yours are already way more in depth than the ones I've written down for you. So.
All right. I like this one. If you could spend the day with anybody tomorrow, who would it be? And you also had to pick what you did. What would you do? It could be anyone alive or dead right now. Just anybody in the history of time.
I would choose to spend the day with my mom. I lost my mom a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. So it's been a rough couple weeks, And I think that anybody who loses somebody so close to them, they ask for that one more day. And it would be with her. And realistically, it doesn't matter what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the beauty of family and the beauty of love, is that it doesn't matter what you're doing or where you're at. It matters the person you're with and the company you keep. And my mom was one of my favorite people to talk to. Mm-hmm. So to have that one more day, to have that conversation, doing anything, you know what I mean? Some of my best times with her were going to Phillies games. We had great times up in Cape Cod. But realistically, the best times were in her living room. So if it could be one day, it would be with my mom and in her living room.
Wow. I obviously knew your mom, and I think she'd probably say the same thing, just a day with Justin in the living room. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I was her favorite. Don't tell my sisters.
I won't tell them. I won't tell Lori or Carrie. They're obviously not going to listen to this anyway. All right. How many was that? Was that 4? Was that 4?
3 or 4.
That was 3 or 4. Okay. So who's your favorite friend? No, I'm just kidding. What's your favorite thing about life?
These are tough, man.
How are these tough?
They're deep. They're
Okay.
deep, so there's a lot.
Right.
So my favorite thing about life is what you make it. Life is literally an unwritten book. And every day you wake up is a blank page. And my favorite thing about that is it can be whatever you want it to be. You can choose to be upset or angry. You can choose to be happy. You can choose to live your dream, and you can choose to be, working in the corporate world for somebody else. Like, it's your choice every single day to do what you want to do. I think that's my favorite thing about life.
Yeah.
For sure.
I feel, wow, it's weird sitting here across from you, hearing you say it, hearing somebody say that right in front of you, because I've obviously heard that before, life's an open book, but man, when you really sit down and think about it, life is truly just what you make of it. So you can wake up tomorrow and think about the visions that you have, and if you can just close your eyes and think about the result and just have your natural ability get you there, you can really just create what you want for tomorrow. It's amazing what you can do in one day. So, wow, I agree with that completely. And that's you said his questions was deep. That answer was pretty deep. All right, so I have one more question. And it's a little bit different, but I think people listening would be good because obviously everybody has opportunity. Everybody might think of stuff that they want to change. So if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be and why?
So I'm going to preface this with something I think that's deeper than the actual question.
Okay.
I think it's hard for people to admit what their faults are.
Agreed.
But I think one of my biggest strengths is knowing what my weaknesses are and what my faults are. So if I had to change something immediately, because there's a lot of my faults that I enjoy, it makes me who I am. But if I had to change something immediately, it would be the ability to take a step back and breathe before I react. Sometimes I react too quickly, which helps me a lot of times in the business world, but personally it doesn't help me. So I would say the ability to step back and take a breath before reacting.
Gotcha. Wow, that's really good. Okay. Awesome.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right, cool.
Your turn.
So I have to start out by saying that my questions are nowhere near as deep as yours.
I doubt that.
They really aren't.
All right.
But I think they're pretty decent. They're decent questions, I believe. Okay, so I'll start with something. You asked me what my favorite food was, so I'll start with my least poignant question, which was, what's one thing you can't live without?
What's one thing I can't live without? Does this did you hear of Maslow's pyramid?
No.
So, does this have to be like water or food?
No. It's
Okay.
not. It's literally what does Zach Bouguet love in his life that he can't live without? Is it his cell phone? Is it coffee in the morning? Is it music? What is it?
As much as I do love coffee in the morning, you talked a lot about family. I would say interaction. This is going to sound, cliche, but interactions with people that you love. That's really, I think, what keeps you going. I probably called some family members a couple times a week. I talked to my mom like just today and yesterday, and being able to talk to like even you, on a weekly, daily basis. I think having those types of interactions kind of keeps you going, keeps you knowing that there's stuff worth working for and fighting for.
Awesome. Why'd you want to do this podcast?
I want to just do a lot of different things, and there are a lot of opportunities that present themselves. And when you have an opportunity to do something like this where it can help people, you have to take a step back and say, okay, what do I want to do with my life and where do I want to go? And if something comes up, does it align with that vision and direction? If you know your vision and you know your direction and something comes along that aligns with that, you have to jump at it.
Awesome. Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of where I'm at too, and just to add to that, I mean, when we had the conversation that we wanted to do this, you kind of have that, people say you have that feeling, that moment where you go, this is the right thing to do. And it's really, we live in a world where you can access millions of people by uploading something to the internet. And I think that's the power in it. You know what I mean? And the fact that we're able to sit down and do this and we have the ability to do it, I think that's super awesome. And like you said, it's really about helping people, which is awesome. What are the best 3 words of advice you ever received?
So number 1 would be have direction and have vision. If you don't know where you're going, you're going to have a really hard time getting there. And I will say that up until recently, I haven't had direction. I've always kind of known that I wanted to be a businessman. I've always kind of known that I wanted to be successful. But without a vision or direction, you're almost spinning your wheels. Effort without direction is a waste of energy, almost. So if you can, people talk about being more productive in a day. Well, I can get you to be 3 times more productive if you do this, or 5 times more productive if you do this. Yeah, that's great. And them being able to help you be productive is really just them giving you small little directions throughout the day. So that's the first best advice. Second best advice, man, this is a tough one. Second best story of advice I think I've ever gotten.
It could be something very simple too.
Yeah, I know. Second best thing of advice I would say is actually read every day. And what I started to do was I started to wake up 45 minutes earlier than I already did. If I had to leave at 6 and it took me 45 minutes to get ready, I'd get up at 4:45 instead of 5:15 to be able to read, have my quiet time, read, and then read a book that I've been reading. And even if it's, I started out doing that 15 minutes each day, and that became 20 minutes each day, but once you make that a habit, it's almost hard to stop. And I felt that really helped me out as well.
Now, before you go to the third best advice, top 2 books that you recommend anybody to read, and then I'll give mine as well.
Ooh, I like that. How to Win Friends and Influence People. I think that's huge. There's, why are you only giving me 2?
Just 2. Your top 2. We know there's more, but just top 2.
So 2 books that I would recommend. I know you want me to keep it to 2.
No, you're only doing 2.
Come on. All right. Well, one I would definitely say, if you want to be a leader, the Servant Leadership. That's by James Hunter. It really puts things into perspective on how people should lead and what people really look for in a leader. I won't really go into any more than that, but when it says the servant leader, it's about serving people through leadership. How can you better other people? So I would definitely say that's one book that I would recommend, and you're really putting me hard pressed here. But I will say, The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason is really good. I would say that as well because...
So that's your top 2? The frustration on his face.
It's not... You can't just limit it to 2 books because Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill is good. Start With Why by Simon Sinek is good. I mean, there's so many good books that I think you need to recommend and people to read. The Magician's Way.
So no, that's fine. We get it. Zach reads a lot of books.
I don't really.
But I just wanted to add in here too because I think that I have 2 top books that I recommend for anybody to read in business or life.
Okay.
One is Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson.
Okay.
It's about change and how to adapt to it, which I think everybody goes through. It's super crazy stuff that you can kind of run up against. And the second one would be The Last Lecture by Randy Pausch. It's essentially, so he was a professor that ended up getting cancer and dying, but after he got cancer, he was awarded the last lecture at Carnegie Mellon, which is the college that he taught at. And every year they pick one professor to do the last lecture, and he did it. And essentially, the book's about the lecture he gave about how to it's really about how to embrace life, no matter how long or short it is.
That's awesome.
To embrace it every single day and live your dreams. And then it became obviously they wrote a book out of it, which now supports his family. He unfortunately passed away shortly after the book came out. So, it's just a great message. Just a great message. And then now your third best advice you ever heard.
My third best advice, I will say, is stay healthy. If you don't like working out, okay, I think you need to take care of your body because if you take care of your body, that'll free you up to do more things, like make money to do what you want or be able to go out and be the person you want to be. If you're not healthy and you don't have your health, you don't really have that. So, it's interesting. People, the two most important things people really, or two of the top important things people need to learn about is their wealth and their health. And a lot of people, that's kind of what they shy away from. So I would say the third best advice would be to stay healthy and keep your body at a place where you can be active and do great things.
Cool. Now, this next question, I want you to answer in one sentence, and that's it.
Okay.
If you could go back and tell a younger you anything, what would it be? One sentence. That's all you have.
One sentence.
Yep.
Wow, that's a tough one. You're going to be just fine.
Wow. I didn't expect that answer, but
Why?
I really like it.
Yeah.
Because I think people worry too much, and I think that's the perfect thing to say to a younger anybody.
Yeah.
Last question, last but not least. What was the biggest moment of growth in your life? Personally, professionally, or both?
Oh, boy. The biggest moment of growth in my life. Dan, you said mine were deep and... for me, the biggest moment of growth in my life is... this is tough. I can't really pinpoint a single point. I can't say there was a single moment in my life that had growth. Mm-hmm. It's just a lot of little increments over time. Whether it's getting a promotion at work, or whether it's right after we had our Jutbug nonprofit expo. Those bits and pieces that force you to just get it done are my moments of growth. So when I'm forced to learn something, or forced to put something together, forced to do something, I grow. And all those circumstances added up make me grow. And a lot of times with me, unfortunately, I need something in front of me to force me to do it to grow. And that's one thing that I need to work on, is I need to grow on my own and not have things come to me and then I grow. But I would say just all those things added up.
Awesome. I think at the end of the day, say nobody listens to this podcast. I've known you since 2007.
Yeah.
And I think we both learned something about each other that we didn't know before.
I agree.
And so if nobody listens to this, literally 0 downloads on iTunes, I'm glad that we're doing this.
Me too.
And, I'm really looking forward to what's next. Our interviews are going to be hopefully super in depth, and people can learn and not only learn for themselves, but learn about some cool people that we're going to talk to too. But like I said, man, I'm really glad that we did this.
Me too.
And hopefully there'll be many, many more to come, and hopefully maybe 1 or 2 people listen.
Thank you for listening and joining the Growth Now movement. This podcast was created to get you to where you want to go. Hopefully it helps as you take action on your Growth Now journey.